Hello, the internet, and welcome back to another episode of Dbacks Dispatch. We are your hosts, Gabriel and Brandon. So welcome on in here, everybody. It's in our chat. I just want to welcome everybody in here to Dbacks Dispatch. If you're listening to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you may listen to us, be sure to rate and review. If this is your first time watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another episode. It also really helps out the algorithm. Check us out on Twitter, on Discord, TikTok, Instagram. We are everywhere at Dbacks Dispatch. We also have written articles on AZ Snake Pit, and they also have a lot of written content going on right now. Despite it being the off season, they have a lot of stuff there. They have a community you can support as well. And coming up, I think we're gonna have some stuff that's coming directly from the website that we're gonna be talking about as well in the next few episodes or so. But just a quick rundown. There's truly hasn't been too much D-backs news. This is always a little bit of the lull, just because of the GM meetings to happen during this week. Usually, when there's the actual GM meetings, there's never actual trades that happen, but there's a lot of talks. And Mike Hazen, it is, it is when Mike Hazen announced that some guys might be available to be traded. Like he mentioned Waldschmidt and Jordan Lawler. Not that they're on the traded block, but that they would be willing to part ways if they find young, attractive pitchers that would make it worth their while. And same thing when we hear about Marte. There's a lot of teams. Apparently, the Red Sox seem to be a new contender that's come out of nowhere. Although I think we talked about it in our group chat a little bit, just Jaron Duran being a part of that package, which Duran is good, but I would rather have Marte and like I said, like it's not like they're that
they're around the same
great of
age,
age. Yeah,
so like you're not getting younger. It's just more you can probably get a decent return for Marte. I'm glad he came out and he basically said, "I'm not calling teams. We're not shopping him, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't listen when teams are calling." And Gambo basically came out and said, "So far, there's been about 7 teams that have called about Marte, which it's fine. Teams are gonna do that when they see that like a team might be a seller. Like they're not in a competing window, so they're like, may as well just call and ask, and that's what's happening. It's what basically
yeah.
Mike Hazen came out and said. So uh, Brett and I are on the same page, and I don't know how you are, but if they were to trade Marte, it, it, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why you would trade basically a top 5 player in your
Yeah, I
franchise's
mean, he's
history?
been a perennial MVP candidate since coming to the Diamondbacks. So this is a guy who can basically hit 300 and 30 home runs per season in his sleep, and he basically has at times because whether it's been injuries or whatever, he played 120 games this season. He had one of the highest WARs in the league. Like if he would have played out almost this whole season, it would have been him at number 5 or something behind Perdomo in the
He only
MVP
missed
voting.
like 30 days, and that was in April. That was it. Like everyone makes it seem like he missed, like he didn't actually miss that much. Like this was actually a season that he played a majority of the season. It's just
Yeah.
the whole thing about what happened during the All Star break. Everyone is
Yeah,
still making
and
a
as far as
big
I
deal
know,
about
he
that.
basically played every single day after that All Star break
Yeah.
incident. So, I think it was just a nothing burger that AZ Sports Media and specifically a certain sports personality made it into a bigger deal than it should have been. But I want to welcome in Mr. Merlin 98. How's it going? But yeah, so because of that, we don't have too much news. But one of the big news that we got in this last week is that Corbin Carroll announced that he is going to be playing for Team USA in the upcoming WBC. And this was, I was surprised, not so much
I was
because
though.
he didn't choose Taiwan or Chinese Taipei, but it was more that he actually agreed to be on the team itself. Not because I don't think he wouldn't be a team player, but it just did seem like something where it's like, oh, really? Like I feel like Corbin's one of those like I'm very focused on the season, like one of those those guys just want to raw dog the season. Like, just no distractions or anything else. And it's not to say this is a distraction. Like, it is a good way to ramp up. But obviously, he's not going to have spring training like he would normally would. But I want to get your thoughts off first. How did you react? How did you feel? What do you think about the actual announcement itself at the what was it, the Silver Slugger Awards or the awards ceremony in
Yeah.
general, whatever it was, with PCA that also announced that he was going to play for Team USA.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Anytime that we can get any sort of Arizona Diamondback on any of the teams for the World Baseball Classic is really exciting. We had Merrill, and then obviously the DR has Marte. Um, who else did we have last time? Thomas played for Team Mexico, which was a big deal to him. But
Yeah,
no, kind of like you said, like I personally thought he was gonna play for his mom because you can always tell like he's really close with his mom. So the fact that she's from Taiwan, so would play for, like you said, Chinese Taipei, I think that's what I was expecting him to play for. So I'm wondering if it was Aaron Judge asked him when the little second best player in all of Major League Baseball asks you to play for your country, how can you say no? I think that has had a lot to do with it. But just thinking of that outfield of probably Corbin in left, PCA in center, Judge in right. It's a pretty decent outfield you got going there, and also you got Cal Raleigh, you got Bobby Wood Jr. Like it's a like everyone says, who's going to beat the U.S. You mean how Japan beat them last time? Also, there's a lot of other countries that are just as good. So I love watching the WBC. Like it's one of my favorite things to watch. Um, I'm glad that it's finally kind of gotten to that. Like I'm not saying it's on the level of the FIFA World Cup because nothing's ever going to get to that level in my opinion because of just decades and decades of history. But it's definitely each iteration of the WBC I think has grown in popularity.
yes.
Like the first one nobody cared. And then like each one it gets more and more popular because you see a lot of these up and coming international players. Like in the last one, we saw Mookie.
Sasaki, Yamamoto,
So
Otani, obviously. So, yeah, I think it's a really exciting event to see. Like, Corbin Carroll out of the baseball world, at least here in the U.S., got to see him in the, playoffs and World Series. But this is the actual world stage. Like, you're going to see, countries from all around the world who are going to see guys like Corbin Carroll. And so they can, end up becoming fans of guys like him because they just, you end up liking how guys play. Like, it happens with everybody. I wasn't like exactly the biggest Rosarena fan, but the way he played with Team Mexico and his
yeah,
attitude and everything, like I did become a big Rosarena guy, and he was a guy that I would have liked here as well. But how's it going, Red Sox Nation? Where is Corbin Barrows? He's late again. He's not a true fan. Um, she's saying that we won't get Naylor back. Yeah,
I
that's.
I didn't
I
think
mean,
we
I,
were
I
going
I
to.
would I wouldn't count it out necessarily, but yeah, I guess that's a discussion we can have later on about how much money this team is going to be willing to spend in free agency. As of right now, we just truly don't know anything until there's certain moves that are made. But yeah, Corbin Carroll being with Team USA, apparently he was scouted by Taiwan. They actually had a meeting with him, and they actually did give him like a proposition to come play for them, but he said no because not so much because he, like in a disrespectful way, but because he said, like, he grew up in the U.S. and that's something that would mean a lot to him and his family if he played here and represented the U.S. And it was nice to see the young stars actually starting to play for the Team U.S. because go back and look at was it 2013, 2012, 2012 one. Like, there's a lot of great stuff in there, but the Team USA that was not it. Like, there's some of those rosters. They had some big boppers on there, but it's been specifically the pitching. The pitching has been abysmal for Team USA. I mean, no shade to Merrill Kelly, but he's not exactly the best starting pitcher in baseball, and he was the frontline starter that also had Lance Lynn on there. So, again, it wasn't exactly full of winners on the pitching side, but having Mike Trout there, having a whole bunch of different guys there. Aaron Judge had committed as well. Pico Armstrong.
So I'm looking at the roster. Joe Mauer, Brandon Phillips, Jimmy Rollins, Eric Hosmer, David Wright. I think that was that the one where Adam Jones made that insane
Yeah.
catch in center field at Petco. So, yeah, again, the roster, if you follow Major League Baseball closely, you probably recognize all the names on that roster. But Heath Bell was on that one when he was Diamondback. So, and then Willie Bloomquist also there. So, again, there's notable names, but it's not like what we had in the last one and now this one. It is the best of the best at their positions.
Yeah.
You got Judge. You got obviously we're not going to have Shohei. He's going to play for Team Japan again. We're going to have Carroll. We're going to have Pico Armstrong. And that's just it for now. There might be, the closer we get, we might hear more names for Team USA. So I'm excited to see
Chris Rose had mentioned that because of insurance policies that a lot of the bigger names have on them and everything else, he said that if they could get that approved right away, he said that there would be 12 or 13 more guys announced that same day, but because of the teams and insurance policies that go along with that, they just got to get approval right now. So it seems like there's quite a few guys still waiting in the wings.
I don't need the names now. I just I don't care about who's playing right now. I'm fine waiting I don't know, a month before the season starts. Yeah. So
just to quickly to correct myself, I hadn't seen the Naylor news yet. I was out, but Josh
really?
Naylor. Yeah, Josh Naylor signed with Seattle Mariners, a 5-year contract. I'm looking for those numbers.
So there's been nothing official, but reports are 90 to 100.
90 to 100. So about what I expected him to get, which I'm a little annoyed because it's same thing as I said about Christian Walker last year. I'm that's kind of the bare minimum that you could offer a guy, and we're gonna get it. It's just what does suck about it is that the D-backs kind of don't get anything, no comp picks in this case because they already traded for him. So instead, we got Tyler, whatever his name is,
Brandon Garcia.
Was that who we got? I thought we got the first baseman, or is that Gino?
So we got Tyler Locklear in the Gino deal.
Oh, okay, all right. I mean, Garcia's been pretty good.
He didn't start well, but he finished the year really strong. I think he could be a
when he got sent down. Yeah, when he got sent down, he actually did pretty well when he came back up. But so that's one guy off the board that we know we can't get. But I guess that's something we all kind of expected, that they weren't going to sign Naylor, and Red Sox Nation is saying P2AZ. I highly doubt it, but I mean, I would be excited if it was Perdomo,
we said the
Corbin,
same thing about Burns.
Ketel, and
we didn't expect
Alonso.
Burns.
Yeah, I mean, I think the unfortunate part is that we just have so many holes to fill on this roster that
Alonso would fill one of those holes.
Yeah,
DH and or first base.
Yeah. So, but it's just at least with Corbin Carroll. I did see a while back, or I did hear an announcement from Rodrigo Lopez, one of the D-backs Spanish language broadcasters. He did say that Alec Thomas had committed to Team Mexico, although there hasn't been a full, I guess, official announcement the same way there was for Corbin. There might have to be a tweet somewhere about it, but we have at least 2 guys on the roster this time, and it could be another pitcher or something else on there again. Like we said, that there's still time
playing for
the DR. Yeah, so
I think they should ask Perdomo.
Perdomo.
I think they need to as well.
I mean, who was the shortstop for the DR?
Who was it last time? I know it was somebody good. Let's go. Oh my god, this damn page has the entire roster for all teams. What was that? 2022. 22 World Baseball Classic?
It's 23. Don't tell me it was like Wander Franco or something.
No, it couldn't have been. All right, 2019. No, that's not what I want. 23.
Yeah, sorry, we're just looking this up. It's just because
All right, you guys.
there's So the problem was that I know they like move guys around with this. So it was Willie Adames, Cano, Devers, Franco, Vlad Jr., Machado, Ketel, Pena,
Actually,
Figura, Cruz.
it might have been Wander Franco.
Yeah, I mean he was coming off like a pretty big season and everything, 22. So might have been Wander Franco. So I'm not really gonna look that up anymore, just in case. But
Yeah, we're just gonna stop right there. But no, I'm just trying to think who else could they pick at shortstop that is a no that's from the DR, like Perdomo. Regardless of how the all MLB team transpired, um, I think Perdomo was the second best shortstop in Major League Baseball last year, behind Bobby Witt.
yeah,
Even though I guess the all MLB team is fan voted partially, which makes sense as to why Bo Bichette like got it, which I don't. I disagree completely, but that's a whole nother thing. I can't stand fan voting because it's completely biased.
yeah. But yeah, so I guess moving on to our second topic, which is something that we've talked about a little bit before, but seems to be becoming a more pressing issue, is that it was announced. I'm not exactly sure who had it first, but it was an article on AZ Central by Nick Picoro that the Diamondbacks basically announced that either one, Jake or Alec Thomas, will be traded this winter, either or. They do have some options. They have Barossa, Tawa, and Blaze who can play. And as of right now in the Winter League,
Those first two names are not options.
yeah, and there are options technically in the way that I guess Jake is an option, but Jordan Lawler right now is playing in DR in center field as well. So, and everything that's come out about that, he seems to be doing all right. There's it hasn't been a complete catastrophe, but one of the issues, other than like their offensive numbers, is the fact they're also arbitration eligible for the first time this season. They're each one is gonna make about $2 million, which isn't a lot, but for a team doesn't really have a lot to spend, it could seem like they want to move on for one with these guys. So my question to you is: one, do you think they're actually going to do it? Two, who do you think is the most likely to get moved?
I think Thomas has the most value out of the two because of his defense, and his occasional pop that he has. The only way that you get rid of Jake McCarthy is you have to package him with somebody else. I don't think you can sell Jake on his own for anything. Maybe a low tier, like rookie level pitcher, but at that point, you may as well just keep Jake. So that's why I think you got to package him with another player. Maybe you package him with Thomas. Maybe you send them together because what this team um, really needs is starting pitching. They really, really do. And if they can get like I want a legit number two, like a number two that we have control on, not someone basically like what we did with Naylor, where we could potentially not have him for the second half of the season. So I know that we should move on from them. I just don't know because either one of them don't really have that much value in my opinion. Like both of them are pretty low. Like Alex season, like it was okay. Like his defense definitely wasn't on par to what we've been accustomed to. So we'll see how this offseason goes. Just the one thing about baseball offseason, is you might get a sign like we got today with Josh Naylor for 5 years, 90 to 100. We could have nothing for 6 weeks. I hope that's not the case. Like, I want some news. And I want whatever their first signing is, if it's a notable signing like a lot of money, then to me that means okay, they're in a spending mode. If it's like a veteran minimum type of signing, then to me that just shows yeah, they're not spending.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. It's just that I don't know like what this team is trying to do because they said they want to cut back like a lot, and then excuse me, and then recently they've come out and said like it's not going to be as much as people thought it was going to be. And I know this season they had record breaking, at least for them, like franchise breaking numbers in terms of their salaries. I mean, it was about 200 million. How close to 200 million is this team going to get? As of right now, they're about 60 or 70 million dollars behind that. But again, we've been mentioning this: first base, third base, an outfielder, a two starting
Starting
pitchers
pitching, a
at least.
bullpen.
We have no bullpen, so there's a lot of holes to fill. And even if you at this rate, I mean, you would have to go after guys who are worth like 15 million. But surely, right now, who is going to be worth 15 million that this team's going to be willing to spend on? And like at this point, it would just be some veterans with the expiring contracts or worth 15 million a year, which doesn't give you a lot of confidence. Where in the direction this team is going. I think personally, so I really, really don't know. And I think something that I mentioned before as well, that just I needed this team to be honest with itself, and I need Mike Hazen to be honest and say, what are we doing here? Is this a rebuild year? Like, I know they hate that term and they always say retooling, but what is this? Is this a retooling, rebuilding year, or are they going to go for it? Because you can't field a team with, two mediocre veterans at first and third, and just a random any rando, Jorge Barossa in left field, and say, tell us with a straight face that they're trying to compete. You can't do that. So, if they go out and spend big money, let's say they get a Pete Alonso, and one of the comments here from Armand is amazing. Armand is amazing. There we go. It says, if the D-backs traded Ketel, would they spend and sign Bo Bichette at second base? That is an interesting question. The problem with that is that, I mean, the Ketel Marte is signed for, I believe, 4 more years. He's only making about $15 million a year. As of right now, one of the biggest numbers that has come out, this is from Newsweek, he is projected to sign for at least $189 million for Bo Bichette. So that's either 7-8 years. He is still quite young, so that might not even be his last contract. And while he was healthy during the season, he was amazing. Obviously, injuries play a big part in this, but if he stays healthy, then he is definitely worth that amount of money. But it is kind of a problem, to trade one guy for another guy when their production is about the same. I kind of don't see it happening just because it wouldn't make sense. It's kind of like was the Cubs or whatever, getting rid of Chris Bryant, but then getting Dansby Swanson, where it's just kind of like, why would you do that? Like, doesn't make too much sense. But what are your thoughts about that? Like, could you see that happening? Could you see the D-backs be a front runner for the Bo Bichette sweepstakes?
I don't even want Bo Bichette. I I don't think he's a one-tool player in my like he's really good at hitting the ball, but I just the way that this team values defense, I don't see why you would sign Bo Bichette, knowing that you have so many options at second base in this organization for that. Like, if they want to play him at DH, that's fine with me because I want to, like, this whole platoon DH thing that worked in 23 didn't really work in 24. Oh, sorry, worked in 24 sort of. We'd make the playoffs, but still, it was for the most part it worked out in 24, 25. It didn't really work outside like the first 60 games. So again, if they sign him, I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm mad. I'm just like, I'm not like, I don't want them to go after Boba Fett like there are other players I want them to go after, like Devin Williams. For me, that needs to be one of the big, like, if they're serious about competing, that is a signing that I want them to make is Devin Williams. And I know everyone's gonna go back and look and see he had a terrible season in 2025, but like you said, look at the back of the baseball card. That tells a better story. Like his career as a whole has been a lot better. So,
Yeah, and it's not just that. Like, if you even look at his baseball savant page, obviously these numbers aren't exact because it's tough to play, but he did kind of show that he did get quite unlucky because if you look at everything, his expected ERA compared to his actual ERA, it was quite lower. Let me check it if I can find his ERA this season was 4.79, so not great, but his expected ERA was 3.09. So that's a run and a half higher than his actual ERA was.
yeah.
So whatever it is, I mean, Yankee Stadium is smaller. Their defense isn't the best either, but expected batting average 195. His fastball velocity was still around 94 miles an hour. His exit velo 89.5. Chase rate was really good. The whiff rate, the K rate,
Yeah.
the walk rate. That seems to
That
be like what
chase whip
really
and
hurt
K
him.
rate. Yeah.
So that seemed to be what hurt him was just the fact that he was just giving up too many walks. But that was truly about it. I mean, I don't feel like he's such a bad player now that, he's beyond fixing. I do think it's a lot of it is the fact that he's playing in New York. I mean, it's a smaller stadium, different type of fan base, different types of fans in general. And I think if you were to come here, at least with the D-backs, bigger stadium, the ball, doesn't fly as much, slightly better defense overall. So that number could be around there, like a 3 ERA for a top of the line closer, a guy that this team could get on the cheap because of the season that he had last season. Who's to say that he can't sign for 8 to 10 million for a couple of years, and then at that point you're kind of just waiting for guys like Puck and J-Mart to be ready by mid-season or September, and then suddenly the bullpen can look a lot stronger come the August and September than it did. Excuse me, early on in the season, and then by that time we should hopefully get Corbin Burns as well. So it's just one of those things where I feel like there's a lot more pressing issues right now, other than where Ketel is or isn't going. Like Red Sox Nation is saying that the Red Sox have shown interest. We talked about it earlier. They seem to be one of the big names that's coming out right now. Tristan Casas, Duran. You would need to offer, I think, an actual starting pitcher, like a major league ready starting pitcher for Ketel Marte. And I think maybe that's why he might be a little bit hard to move. Like you said, everyone is looking for starting pitching right now, especially young, controllable starting pitching. There's not a lot of Zach Gallen for Jazz Chisholm trades out there. Like those are very rare. Like if there's any sort of team that can afford to lose some starting pitchers, it might just be like the Marlins or the Mariners as well. But as we saw, Hazen got a little fleeced, I guess you could say, with some of the trades that he made. But again, Ketel is under control for a lot longer, and that's truly is how I feel. Like I don't want Ketel gone. I think he should stay here and he should finish his career here because he is, when all is said and done, he's going to be a borderline Hall of Famer. He has some seasons like he put up this season, last season, if he's healthy. This is a guy who could just be knocking on the door of the Hall of Fame, and to trade another potential Hall of Fame guy for scraps like we did with Paul Goldschmidt is just going to be so embarrassing and just such a disaster, I think. And like I've said it before, like I trust Mike Hazen to buy, but I don't trust him to sell. And so far, right now, like we truly haven't seen anything real from other than Garcia. I mean, we traded 4 guys, right? It was Grichuk, Naylor, Suarez, and Merrill that we traded. all
and
pretty
all of
damn good
them
players,
had
and
like flashes. Like we saw flashes from some of these guys, like Burgos,
yeah,
but then and then Garcia showed flashes.
Garcia,
Locklear,
Locklear that first week was good, and everyone's like, oh, like, you know, maybe he was the answer all along, but then we just saw like there's a reason why these prospects are in their mid 20s and still in the minors. Like
yeah,
you don't
true
have a lot
prospects.
of guys who are 25, 26 years old who become superstars. Like it's rare for that to happen. But again, I think it's just kind of a waiting game to see what happens because
It
we
is.
have the winter meetings starting in a couple of weeks from now as well. And maybe there could be moves, maybe they couldn't. I mean, the D-backs don't really do winter meeting moves either. But for me, I think I just don't want them to wait it out where they're waiting and waiting and waiting for some of these prices to drop, and then they're left picking up scraps, at the end of January or February.
Be proactive.
Yes.
Go out and
Uh,
get the guys that you want. Is all I'm saying.
yeah.
So Devin Williams, market value according to Spot Track, 5.7. So I'm like, okay, 2 year, $15 million deal. Based on that, again, we don't know if that's what the actual market value is, what these GMs see him as, but if we could get Devin Williams for that cheap, I think that would really improve this bullpen. Like that would be once. Like I still think we need at least three solid bullpen arms back there, with either trades or free agency. Get at least two starting pitchers. Get a third baseman. Get a first baseman. Get a left fielder. Like there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So Hazen, I hope you're ready for a busy off season for you. Um, I just I think that they've walked back the whole we're not spending as much this year because I think how the season like take outside of that last series against the Padres, I think this team played really well that last 60 games.
Yeah.
So, and I think that may have changed their mind about not spending, or maybe it changed Ken Kendricks, and maybe Hazen was able to convince him like, we aren't that far off. It's gonna cost you some money. Like you're gonna need to spend, but we could be right there again. So I'm hoping Hazen is good at his job and able to convince because that's who it's gonna come down to is Ken. Like he's gonna have to convince Ken, if you allow me to spend money, I can keep us competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially like the way baseball is. I mean, the highest spending teams are the ones who make it to the playoffs and who have made it to the World Series the last few years. Like the D-backs truly were the outliers in 2023 because the the Rangers spent a lot of money in that offseason and their roster. I think they were like that World Series roster just by itself. I think they're over $100 million more expensive than the Diamondbacks were at the time. So I mean, unfortunately, you just got to spend money in this league, and I guess that would lead into our next topic. And I'm just going to spring this on you, Brandon. But it was something that I mentioned last week, and it I felt like Nostradamus for a second because I'm like, yeah, this is kind of what I mentioned. But the Padres, they announced that the team might be for sale. There seems to be a lot of infighting with the
Oh, I
owner's
got some info on
wife
that one.
and I believe his brother, right? Seidler's
Correct.
brother. There seems
Brother.
to be some
Yeah.
infighting there. Um, because again, this is something I mentioned last week about Ken Kendrick. Like he is getting older. If he doesn't have, I actually don't really know if he has kids or not. Like maybe he does, but if he doesn't have kids or his wife or whoever who doesn't have people waiting, if he passes away, whether expectedly or unexpectedly, if whoever is left in charge isn't passionate, we could risk them trading the team away because of all these outstanding numbers and contracts and everything. And like we mentioned, the nobody can spend the way the Dodgers can or the Red Sox and stuff like that. Like these are owned by mega corporations, and Diamondbacks are just a group of some individual owners and Ken Kendrick, who is the majority owner. And like we said, I'm not going to defend a billionaire, but he is worth a little over $1 billion, and it's not a lot of liquid assets. So if he wants to spend a lot of money, it would be stuff that's either coming straight from his pocket or he have to get loans out the way Peter Seidler did in his last few seasons and making huge contracts that are 10, 15 years long. It's not a recipe for success for teams like the Diamondbacks or for smaller market teams. Like, I mean, he's been trying to make these bigger contracts like Corbin Carroll, Perdomo, extending guys for longer years, but without having the huge
Martinez.
number attached to where they can't sell the team if needed, or if it's a new owner comes in and they don't want to sell. But what were your thoughts on this? I know you're actual like a Padres fan originally, before the D-backs existed. So what were your thoughts on this, and what were the some of the inside info that you had as well?
I knew it was coming. So basically, what it is there's a lot of fighting between Peter Sadli's widow and his brother. There's a lawsuit going on, and apparently, the brother owes the spouse like $300 million that he does not have. That's why he's thinking of selling the team, is so that he can pay her, which I thought was interesting. Um, but also, like, yeah, like he is not passionate about baseball at all. He's only doing it because he was awarded the team and not his widow. So, good luck trying to sell the team though, because they have a lot of money tied up. Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, and like how we were not happy about the rumor of Marte being traded. Bob Nightingale also floated out that the Padres should sell Tatis as well if they're going to trade. Padres fans didn't like that because it's what Bob Nightingale does is he forms his opinions on his articles in his reporting. Sometimes doesn't have a lot of facts to back it up. It's just a lot of opinion pieces. So, um, yeah, and going through a new ownership, sometimes you're not competitive for several seasons. Ask the Dodgers when they went through their, I think it's the McCourts divorce like 10,
Yeah.
15 years ago. Like that was like Major League Baseball had to get involved with that one. Like that one got really ugly. So sometimes, yeah, having the team be sold, especially if it's a cheap owner, you're like, finally, we're gonna get someone in here who can spend. But you got to be patient. Sometimes they like to take their time with this. So
I mean, just look at the
we'll see
Orioles.
if they,
Their fan base
yeah,
was so excited, and they truly have done nothing except extend their second string catcher. I'll call him, because they haven't extended Adley. They extended the other guy.
yeah. So we'll see if they end up do if the Padres do end up selling and who ends up buying it. Rumor is I think it's Cronky, the guy that owns the Rams and the Avalanche, is interested in purchasing the team. He's going to keep them in San Diego because we don't need a third team in Los Angeles. Even though technically there's only one team in Los Angeles, but we have two named Los Angeles. So we'll see. It's weird because Cronky has so much money. The fact that he built that massive stadium for the Rams, owns a hockey team. It's a lot of money, a lot of money. So we'll just have to wait and see. Um, like I saw it coming. Like as soon as I was like, there's no way that the brother's gonna want to keep paying these guys, spending all this money. He's not motivated for baseball. So I was expecting it to happen eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, not everybody's Hal Steinbrenner. Like, not everybody's gonna be willing to take up the mantle and to spend the way Steinbrenner has after his dad passed away. So again, that's why you don't. Well, a lot of these smaller markets, that's why they don't overspend, because you have situations like this happen where they overspend, they owe money to the banks or whoever, and then they can't. The family just doesn't want to not only not pay it back, but they just don't want to be in charge of that amount of debt. And as of right now, like you mentioned, Tatis. Bogarts,
Machado.
even Darvish, Machado. Like they signed so many guys for a
Darvish
lot of money,
is done. It isn't playing next
and
year.
he's
He
not playing
got
next year. And I believe they're starting to hook for either this year and next year as well. So,
yeah.
and that's a guy they're paying damn near $30 million a year as well. So there's what like four guys who would make up like what 120, 130 million for the next almost decade on that team, and the I don't think anybody wants to pay that who isn't Peter Seidler. Peter Seidler, I mean, he loved the team. He also wanted to bring in championship before he passed away because I believe he had cancer and he knew his time was coming up. So that's why he overspent. And then when the Bills came, that's why Juan Soto got traded because Major League Baseball, like you said, they had to step in as well and tell him, hey, how are you going to pay these guys? Because as of right now, you don't have the liquid assets to pay these guys their contracts. So they had to ship off Juan Soto because his arbitration number was going to be, I believe it was something like 35 million. Like it was a record-breaking arbitration numbers for Juan Soto. And the team that could afford it was, like who I mentioned, House Steinbrenner, the Yankees. So the disparity between Yankees ownership and Padres ownership and D-backs ownership, it's huge. Like you're talking about billions and billions of dollars compared to guys who have a billion. Like there's just a huge difference.
2 billion is a lot different than 100 billion.
Yeah, it's
Like
totally
everyone
different.
thinks, oh, they're all billionaires. They can afford. They're not. The same billion is not worth the same.
Yeah, I mean it's like if I give you $1 and somebody has $100 and someone tells you like, oh, well, you can spend it, you have money. I'm like, yeah, but it's $1 compared to $100. Like, of course, they can outspend me. I can spend some cents, but if I spend that entire dollar, then I'm broke. Compared to someone who has 100, they can spend a few, $50, $60, and it won't hurt their wallet the same way it would for me. So it's just something to keep in mind when we're talking about contracts from the D-backs. Like, again, I'm not going to defend billionaires. I don't think they should exist, but this is the landscape that we live in, and this is sports, and there's the haves and the have-nots. And as of right now, the Dodgers are one of the haves, and I've heard of the podcasts where specifically Baseball's Dead, where people like Jared Carrabis will say that ownerships can spend, but he's speaking as a Red Sox fan who's also owned by a conglomerate. Freaking LeBron James is a part owner. Their owner owns Manchester City, I believe, either City or United. Like he owns one of the biggest sports teams in the entire world. The Red Sox are like a side project to him. That's how big it is. So well, if he's complaining, people like Carabas or anyone else are complaining about that. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but I'm like, Ken Kendrick is not gonna be worried about that. He's also invested in like West Virginia University or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe his mind is elsewhere, but still, it's like you can't expect all these teams to be playing on the on an even playing field. And I do think there has to be a salary floor because guys like Paul Skeens should stay in Pittsburgh. And it sucks that the conversation has been going on since he debuted. Like, oh, he's an automatic Dodger because the Pirates are probably going to sell him up because they're not going to pay for his arbitration numbers. Because for a guy like Paul Skeens, he in the last two seasons, he's won Rookie of the Year. He got Cy Young votes last year as a finalist. He got Cy Young this season.
Unanimous Cy Young.
Unanimous Cy Young.
That's crazy.
I mean, at this point, we are seeing unprecedented numbers from a guy like Paul Skeens, and that first year of arbitration, which is not this season, but it should be next season. I'm not exactly sure how it would be for pitchers because I know for pitchers their MLB start date's a little bit different, but I believe because he was voted for Rookie of the Year, that would just automatically make him rookie eligible.
27. So yeah, that's when his ARB starts.
So yeah, so like the only guy that I can maybe think of is Kershaw.
Maybe.
So I believe I found some numbers here for Kershaw. I believe he made 11 million his first year of arbitration playing Kershaw, and this was in 2014 or 13. His eligible year, and 11 million as it is. $11 million is more than I think any of the Diamondbacks are going to get in arbitration this season. So that's already high enough as it is. Like we're talking about Paul Skeens. I mean, you're knocking on the door of 20, even close to 30 million for his first year of arbitration. And I don't think the Pirates are going to want to spend that money. So
Shug. This is funny because he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so he does
yeah,
know what
nobody
it's.
wants to play in Pittsburgh. Just quickly, just want to get to some of the comments here. Macy Dixon 3983 says, Domo might play for the DR. I am expecting him to.
I am.
It would be a really good way to ramp up for the season, especially for a guy like Perdomo. Would be, nice to be on a team full of veterans that he can, learn from. Like we mentioned last season, like the huge jump that he took. So if he's on Team DR this season, I think he could really make a huge jump and huge strides to where he could end up at third in the MVP voting instead of fourth. And they also ask, is you Min Lin going to play for Team Taiwan? Uh, as far as I know, we don't know yet. Team Taiwan, I don't think has announced anything. I would expect him to play because he did miss a lot of this season because of the mandatory military service in Taiwan. So that's why his ERAs was a lot higher this season than it normally should have been. So it could be a good way for him to ramp up as well. But any final thoughts, Brandon, what we talked about today?
No. Just happy to see Corbin Carroll play for Team USA. Just sucks that there's not going to be any games in Phoenix for the World Baseball Classic this time around. So that's kind of a bummer. Hazen, just don't trade Marte. I beg you, please do not trade Marte. I have 2 jerseys of Marte. It's gonna really, really suck if I if I don't get to wear those anymore. So yeah, I've seen this one too, Red Sox Nation. Maybe us go after Cody Bellinger. That would fix our outfield hole that we have.
I mean, outfield and first base,
Yeah.
potentially.
So I still want them to sign Goldie to a 1-year deal, have him platoon first base with Pavin Smith. Like I think that would work out really, really well. We'll just see if we get any other news. Shook. Cody is coming home to Los Angeles, according to Shook. So we'll have to wait and see if that's true, even though technically his home is Phoenix. His home is Phoenix.
Cody and Scooble are both coming home to Phoenix.
That's the only player that I'm okay trading Marte for is Tarek Scooble. It's the only player.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it last week as well. Like that's a trade that could be, on both of their rosters because they need offense, and Ketel provides offense, and he's signed for a few more years. Scooble, I think this is the last year as well, so I could see that being a 1-for-1 trade in this case. But yeah, for me, when it comes to Corbin Carroll, what I want to see right now is honestly a really nice Team USA jersey, because out of all the ones that they've had, haven't been for me. The Samurai Japan jerseys have been really, really nice. I've loved Team Japan's jerseys, and I would love to have a Corbin Carroll Team USA jersey, but they honestly have just not been it at all for me. Like, I don't think I've liked this one. Yeah.
Just like, okay.
I mean, Team Mexico, they had that like powder blue with the pastel pink lettering, which were beautiful. I love those jerseys that they had. Even the green ones are really nice. So who is it that makes it? Is it Nike?
I think so.
Pull up. Like, what are you doing? I mean, even the U.S. soccer jerseys aren't great either. So I don't know what the hell Nike's doing there for our international teams. Like, Adidas has been killing it. Like the World Cup jerseys for Team Japan. I'm frustrated. But yeah, so hopefully that we can see some really nice jerseys for Team USA. Then I can actually buy a Corbin Carroll jersey, because the way this team operates, I don't have a single player on the back of my jerseys, and I have quite a few jerseys, and I just don't have any because there's no guarantee that Ketel's staying. There's no guarantee that Corbin's staying. There's no guarantee Perdomo's staying, or Gallen, or whoever else I wanted.
Yeah, I'm in trouble because I have a lot of names on the back of my jerseys.
as soon as I found out that Goldschmidt was getting traded, that's when I was like, all right, like I'm for sure never getting a player jersey. And like if this team is willing to trade Goldie, like, oh, I have a Gonzo and I have a Randy Johnson jersey.
See, that's fine
But
because
that's
they're
different.
no longer a player.
But that's different.
They're not
So
active, so you don't have to worry about them being traded.
yeah, so how's it going, Dank?
Hope your shows are going well, sir.
Yeah, and Macy's saying here that the biggest issue is pitching, and yeah, that's what we talked about. Just too many holes to fill on the pitching side. That 15 million is not going to get you a quality starter. It's going to get you a guy with a 4 ERA who can give you 150 innings. That's about it. So this team's going to have to spend this offseason. They have about 60 million if they want to be close to the 200 million that they were this season. But again, I think it just totally depends on what they decide to do, what Mike Hazen decides, what Kane Kendrick decides. Are they going to go all in, or are they just going to wait until some of these contracts run out? But I mean, you have Corbin Burns. You have Corbin Burns still. You have Corbin Carroll. You have Perdomo. You have Marte. Like, you have too many great guys on this team to just be calling it a loss. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming in here. Dank, Macy Dixon, Shug, Red Sox Nation, Corbin Barrels. I did see you, and I did see your comment. Armand is amazing, and Mr. Merlin. I want to thank everybody for coming in here. If there's any sort of news, we will be sure to get on it. We might have a podcast on Tuesday or Wednesday, because that is when the Rule 5, that is the deadline for the Rule 5 and also the deadline for the qualifying offers. So Zach Gallen has a day and a half to decide if he's going to be with the D-backs for the next season.
We've done it. We just haven't gotten
And so I am curious. That is something I think if Gallen does accept it or not accept it, we will probably go live Tuesday or Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Under the lights, the game goes down. Desert heat, but we own this town. Brandon, Gabe on the call with Josh in the back.